It's the 17th of August 2024, and the incident that is trending in the news in India is the Kolkata rape. Now, before I get started, I'm sure you're wondering, who's this guy and what is this podcast about and why should I actually listen to him? Well, my name is Vivek Chandran. I'm the author of a book titled The 9 p.m. Debate. This book essentially is a takedown of Indian television journalism, topic that we all love, and it also dives deep into the rape epidemic in India. It talks about the problem, various aspects to it, and discusses solutions and practical ways for us to actually figure this out. This is going to be a series of podcasts related to that topic. I'm going to start with the problems first, and then start discussing solutions. So let's get into it. So coming back to where we started, right? The Kolkata rape. Now, if you talk to a lot of people about this particular incident, they're going to tell you how much it broke their heart and how gutted they are by what happened there. Interestingly, I'm not affected by what's happened, and the reason is that you can be gutted by something that happens once. It happens a second time, third time, fourth time. It happens with alarming regularity every 6 months. You move on, right? So I'm not deeply disturbed by it. Now, when I watch Indian television, you and this is something that happens very often. The news anchor points a mic towards a person who's the owner of a lovely vagina and asks her, "Hey, what is your reaction?" And she says, "I'm outraged," right? And then they point the mic to somebody similar, and that person has the exact same reaction. That person is outraged as well, right? And this goes on. You could pretty much go to all the channels, and everybody's sitting there outraged. Now, what is the problem with outraged, right? Let's just say, that let's just take an example. Let's say you have a child, and this child is hit by a drunk driver, and you're in the middle of the street and you call for the police and the ambulance shows up, and the ambulance attendants and everybody in it, they are obviously outraged, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is just bizarre. This is a 10th incident of drunk driving that I've seen this month, and this is terrible." And they go on for half an hour, and then you realize that this is a total waste of your time. You take the child you love deeply, put that kid in the rickshaw, and take him to the hospital. And once you get to the hospital, you realize that the doctors and the nurses and the anesthesiologist and everybody else and the surgeons, everybody else is outraged. They go on for the next half an hour about how big a tragedy this is, and how many times they've seen this happen. And within no time you realize that the child you love so dearly is no more, right? So the problem with so here's the thing, right? Outrage, there's something that the people who are closest to the victim can, yeah, it's an emotion that they can definitely come up with, right? And it's okay for family and friends of that person to feel this way. But if you're not close to a victim, then you have no right to feel outraged. Yeah, you have to be part of finding a solution to this particular problem. Let's just say that you're going for heart surgery. You don't want the doctor to be excited and pumped up. You want the doctor to be relaxed, calm, and take care of you, right? So this is what this podcast is about. We are going to be relaxed, calm, and we're going to try to understand why this happens, and how we as a society can find solutions to this, so that we can reduce incidents like this. So let's start with the law and order system, right? The law and order system essentially has three pieces to it. We're going to discuss each of these three pieces one by one, right? Let's start with the first one. Let's start with the courts, right? And I'm going to talk about different incidents related to courts and their verdicts. The first one I'm going to start with is the one involving Navjot Singh Sidhu. So Navjot Singh Sidhu was involved in this was a road rage incident where um, there was a person who was killed, and Sidhu was accused. And his case took 30 years in court, and after 30 years, the judge gave a sentence of 1 year, right? So 30 years to adjudicate a murder case, right? Imagine, right? And let's take a look at a different one. I know this is not related to rape, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of what the system is, right? The second one is related to the Bhopal gas tragedy. So this happened in 1984. There were tens of thousands of people who were killed, and there were tens of thousands of people who had to live with the effects of the gas, right? And this affected them physically, mentally, neurologically, right? So the the trauma that this incident had was on lakhs of people. And this happened in '84, and the judgment was passed in 2010. And there were seven people who were sentenced to 2 years in jail and maybe 2 lakhs. And I don't think any of them went to jail. All of them got bail, right? So this took 26 years, right? So imagine you're a 60-year-old petitioner, and you go and file a case. And you realize that, oh, this is going to take me another 30 years. There's a good chance that you're not there, or you really don't care, right? It's just a long time. Even if you're not a 60-year-old petitioner, but you're a 20-year-old girl, you just realize that you are spending another 10 years of your life that you could have spent in developing yourself, getting a job, doing well, and you're spending all of that time in trying to get justice, right? Now let's look at some of the other cases. You have Manish Sisodia, who was a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. He was in prison for 18 months, and then after 18 months, he's out on bail. So why was he there for 18 months? What is the evidence that was there against him? Then you've got somebody like Sudha Bhartwaj, who's a civil rights lawyer, labor rights lawyer. And she was in prison for, I think, 3 years. And she had a good lawyer, Indira Jay Singh, who was pretty well known. And in spite of that, she was in jail for 3 years, and then she got bail, and the case continues. And then you've got somebody like Umar Khalid, who's still in prison. So he's been there even longer, right? And then let's look at the other big case. Like, let's look at the Sheena Bora case. So Sheena Bora case is really interesting because she was missing for 2 years, and her parents didn't report it. And this case goes on for 6 years. After 6 years, Peter Mukherjee, he gets bail. Indrani Mukherjee also gets bail. So why were they in prison, or why was she in prison for 6 years? Right? Did you have the evidence, or no? If you didn't have the evidence, why keep somebody? And if you did, then what happened in 6 years that somebody is on bail and is out in the general public, right? So what do these incidents prove? Right? These incidents prove that if you look at the law and order system, and you believe that the judiciary is a very important piece of it, that the judiciary is just not working, right? It's just not working. So if you're a criminal and you look at the system, you're like, oh wow, this is terrific. I should go out and I should commit a crime today, and that is exactly what people are doing. So even though these incidents are not related to specifically to rape, right? These are incidents that showcase that the legal system in India is really, really, really broken, right? And people don't have faith in it. So as a petitioner, you wouldn't really be spending your time. And if you're a criminal, you just know that the system is just going to take so much time that people are going to be, the evidence is going to disappear, the witnesses are going to disappear, and the chance of getting prosecuted is very, very slim, right? So that's the first problem. And in the next video, I will discuss the second. Stay tuned.